Hey. Welcome back to my channel, Beautiful Souls. This channel is The Soul Leader. My name is Soul Leader. Welcome back. This video is going to be really quick. I'm practically kind of read my notes, just read off of it and try to elaborate as much as I can. This video is about looking the part instead of being the part. Now, when people cheat or leave, it is not your fault, and you got to know that. Um, I had to learn that, and I understood clearly once it got in my mind, like, okay, I knew nothing was wrong with me. There is nothing wrong with me. You know, the things that are wrong, if anything was wrong, the Lord would tell me. That's who I listen to, not people, because people will project their mess onto you. Um, they look for greener grass instead of becoming greener grass. Um, they always look for better or always want more. They always feel like they have less, so they always want more. They look for what's missing instead of for what's right in its place. They don't know how to be humble. They don't know how to be grateful and thankful for what they do have. They always think that what they have is not enough. So you cannot take a person like that, what they do personally. The most you can do is remove yourself, because if you know you are enough, being around a person who always see less will treat you as less, and that will cause you sometimes to feel like less when you stay too long. you know um and I learned this from um sometimes we think we be so deep in love with people, but we get lost in the sauce when we get lost in potential. And to me, a potential, telling somebody they got potential or just potential, to me just still feel like not enough, in my opinion. To have the potential mean like you could. How about you will or you are is what I would refer to instead of potential. Um, they st- um um these type of people, they look for people who are what they are not. People who they can like, you ever met people who do anything to be always be in your presence and stuff because they know like being around you bring good luck or make them look a particular way. Some people will plant themselves in your life and plant themselves around you, you know, or even if they really not so good, they just so attracted to who you are, your essence, that they they like the opposite of what they are. And it's mostly because they want to be that. They want to mimic and try to mask what it is. But being kind, loving, and understanding, caring, encouraging, nurturing, spiritual, whatever, all these great positive things is nothing that you can just mirror. It's just something that you just are. um let me put the camera back. I'm sorry. um You can't want a Bentley, but you are a Honda Civic. That's basically what I'm saying. It's like, you ever seen the show Pimp My Ride with I think the host was Exhibit. He's a rapper slash actor, right? And the show was called Pimp My Ride, and they used to custom cars like that, like cars that didn't really look hot and turn them into something hot. That's kind of what they do. But when you do that with those cars, eventually they break down when they need a lot of maintenance to keep up with all the shiny, glittery things about it that it had added unto itself, or that it's trying to mimic. Um, that's basically what a lot of those cars were on that show, and that's kind of like what some people are when they are false people. Um, That's how you bring brokenness to people who are already been remodeled. Like when you broken, like for instance, like some people will don't ever get in a relationship with somebody that hop from relationship to relationship. You shouldn't get in relationships with people who seem to always keep their exes around. Shouldn't get in relationships with people who seem to keep drama around. People who don't have good relationships with their parents. I can understand it, like say if a parent had passed away or they were adopted for whatever reason, things like that. Those are things that you help, but you got to pay attention to, because sometimes those people will more than likely deal with abandonment issues if they weren't nurtured properly. Um, a lot of people are taking on a lot of their childhood trauma into their adulthood because they're not healing themselves. They're sitting around waiting for somebody else to do it. Nobody's going to do it. If you want somebody else to do it, well, I hope you got cash to pay them, to tell you a whole bunch of things that you can either go to the Lord and go within and find out too, and seek the help at the same time. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not down in no therapy, because I told you, therapy is a great thing. And I too myself will be entering into that myself. You know, we all need somebody. We all need somebody. We're here to be in fellowship with each other. We're here to help each other grow. So don't ever feel like going to therapy. Like people gotta eat and survive too. So if somebody's gifted at helping you uh with if they're your life coach or your therapist, a counselor, whoever you go to, your priest, whoever, I wouldn't even say that they can't. No. um, I'm not saying anything wrong with that, but some things you shouldn't take to your priest or your pastor. I'm just saying, these childhood wounds, sometimes I think you need to take it to people who you gotta find something, a safe place that's giving you good advice. And you'll know when it's good advice. You know, you'll know when it's of God. But let me stay back on topic. Um, I was reading when I wrote this. I was reading First Peter, chapter 1, verses 10 through 25, and then I wrote down verses 24 through 25. All people are like grass, and all their glory is like the flowers of the field. The grass withers and the flowers fall, but the word of the Lord endures forever. And this is the word that was preached to you. Sorry about that, but I was trying to see what I had wrote. And it also wrote, you don't have to look like everything is all right. Make sure that everything is all right. We can't keep going around pretending that everything all right. I admitted in my previous video, hey, I had a bad week. I wasn't feeling great. I really couldn't record, for not being in a good headspace. It wouldn't be me being authentic if I was coming, speaking to you, even though the Lord told me, like, okay, you can record when you're angry, but not what I was feeling in that moment. That wasn't healthy. But I know not to allow myself in that space again, and to have better control. Um, and that came from, even though I had already wrote this like well over a week ago, um, it's more so speaking into what I'm saying now. Maybe my higher self knew what was going to happen. Um, but I was pretending, and I was beginning to crack, and I was acting out with anger because I was cracking, right? And that was all because I was pretending everything is all right. When everything is not all right, just say that. I was giving cues. I have blatantly said it, but I said it to deaf ears. I'm not doing that anymore, because I'm not going to allow myself to suffer again in that way. Meaning, I was dealing with this from multiple people during the week, and just reading what I had wrote just now helped me just now understand what I was dealing with. Um, Pretending will only get you but so far. You know, um, You got people who value money, cars, sex, women, men, just looking like the ideal life, the nice house, the trophy. Um, what is a trophy? It reminds me of a portion of the Bible that speaks on when the Lord reminds us not to how I want to put it, because I don't want to offend nobody, but I'm going to say my truth. What I got, I don't remember what chapter it was and what verse, but I read it recently again and it made me think about it. How like people put the Jesus on a crucifix and wear it like you're not supposed to remember the Lord that way. You're not supposed to remember when Jesus nailed to a cross on you, because that the Lord is within you. He's not in any symbols. The Lord isn't in any of these pictures that we see laying around everybody's houses and all these false pictures of who God is and who Jesus is. Because it's kind of like still idolatry. You idolizing an item, something man-made, you know. That's what I got from that text, So it's different ways to remember the Lord and different ways to represent the Lord, but you don't have to always think, oh, because I'm wearing a cross on my arm, on my chest, across my heart, that mean you represent the Lord, or that you're any more blessed than the next. Because when you take off that cross, what does that mean? Does that mean that your power is gone? Does that mean that you're not any more valuable? That's what I mean by why you shouldn't put it into, you know, uh, things like that. That's where I'm going with that, okay? But let me stay on topic. They like looking like money, smelling like money. But is it really money? They get the cars that look like they got a couple dollars. And with those cars come maintenance is expensive. So you know what kind of life some people either have to lead to support these negative habits. And when you worship things like this, you attract things that worship things like that, which means the women and the men that only come because they see the shiny things. If shiny things is your glitter and gold, well, there's other people who like shiny things, and your glitter is their gold. So their eyes light up, and y'all get in cahoots with each other, and then that's when the fakeness starts, because you're only dealing with each other for the material things, you know, and that's not a good thing to do, because when those material things are gone, where those people go? Off into the sunset to look for more shinier things, right? You know, looking like that part that is just right instead of being the part that is, looking like that part that is just right instead of being the part that is just right are two different things. It's like trying to fit the missing piece to the puzzle that don't fit. So why even force it? Why you just can't leave the puzzle alone until you find that missing puzzle piece? Those people go home at night lonely and take off the mask and put on a new one each and every day because pretending gives them validation. Being just like them give being just like gives them false validation. So like what I mean by that is like when they could pretend to be something they not at all times and not let you know the real them, to them is safe. And you know when they pretend they are like it, it gives them validation, but it's not real validation and reality. It shows insecurity. It shows lack of self-love, lack of self. Like, only a person who don't know who they are will value cause, money, sex. Not saying they value, because sometimes some people so caught up, they don't even realize they're doing these things. And some people know they're doing these things and pretend and like they don't know, but they know because they're comfortable in doing it. It brings them pleasure in material things instead of the real things in life that matters. You know, is it all together? All of those pieces? Did you lose any pieces to begin with? Did you lose any pieces of of the puzzle? Or are you overlooking the pieces that brings it all together? You're not going to find it in the crowd. When people do you wrong, it is a reflection of their character and not yours. Pay attention to people who cannot see what they already have. They are not grateful, so how can they be thankful? Always know your worth, because even if they can't see you, you know it. To know, to see. So, in order for you to know, it comes from within. In order for you to see, it comes from the outside, because your eyes are on the outside of you. So it see the illusions. It see what's not really real. Whereas when you know, to know comes from within. To know comes from within. So you don't have to use these to control how you perceive everything. Those are just a glimpse into people's souls. You know, um, they see the surface, but you see the core. They see the flesh, but you see the spirit. If if your worthiness was a dictation of how another see you, then you were nothing. It is not what God's it is not um it is not what God sees. If they are blind, they it's because they can't see. And if they see others that they believe are better, let them go test out the dummies. Allow them to. But you are not a part of their puppet show. They will always look for what they can get out of you and not pour into you. Pay attention to the giver and the receiver. Pay attention to the con and the manipulator. Pay attention to who come through and who comes out. Looking smart and acting dumb. Looking sweet but acting bitter. Looking beautiful but acting ugly. Pay attention to that. Those are the people that like looking the part instead of being a part. To even be a part of this, you have to do the work. You have to deal with yourself in every aspect. Deal with all of your emotions in order to be able to understand people and theirs. When you can't really deal with your emotions, and I'm going to share this and I'm going to end this video because we already almost 20 minutes in. One thing about me is I'm in tune with all of my emotions. One of my emotions I can't stand is my anger, and so cannot other people. But this is the thing that I'm in tune with my anger, is that I know that when I'm feeling it, not to take it out on others. But if it's ever that moment and I am expressing it, not saying that it's a good thing, but I'm just saying that I'm aware, more aware than I ever was, about how I am reacting. Um, some people always want to try to tell you not to feel because they don't know what feeling is. And in order to feel, you got to be able to feel all of your emotions and become aware of all of your emotions. Know what emotions to act on and which ones not to. understand how you got there, how you felt when you were there, and how you got out of it if it was a negative emotion. If it was a good emotion, what did you do to keep going in that emotion? How to, like uplifting, you know? And when you can tap into your negative emotions and when you can tap into your good emotions, in my opinion, you have mastered that. I don't know what law that is, but to me, that's like a super strength. Um, it's like kind of remind me of a certain group of people who feel intensely. Um, Basically, like empaths, like I said, because I know I'm empathic. Um, we feel with intensity, you know. So it's always easy for me to know what somebody's feeling, even if they are being the meanest, coldest. I know what you're really thinking, what you're really saying with your code words. I know how to read in between the lines. I pay attention to everything about you. Like, try having somebody study you so well because they possess something that you do too. But say, like, it affected you in a bad way that you had no choice but to do the same thing. So you're basically mirror them. But you mirror them in a way of they don't know that you're really good at that too. They don't know that you can not on purpose understand body language very well and what people really mean and understand what they really feel like. You ever had somebody come to you and tell you an issue they have or something that happened to them and you can feel what they felt when they was feeling it, or you can still feel the emotion that is still present when they speak on it, that kind of energy. So you know do not look the part, be the part. Because being a part will speak for itself. It'll speak for your character. You don't have to attract the wrong people when you are the part. But when you're trying to look the part, you're going to attract people that's just like you that's trying to look the part. And they're going to look the part until they can't look the part no more. And they're on to the next piece. So, with that being said, have a beautiful and blessed day, beautiful souls. Until next time, let me help you, and together we can help one another. Peace and blessings.